Hi there, I'm Stacy, the encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. I work and create out of our home here in Northeast Ohio in a large, messy, light-filled studio. Encaustic literally means to burn in, so I paint with a torch and hot beeswax mixed with a tree sap, and well, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. When I'm not in the studio, I'm out exploring nature with my husband, Matt. Thanks so very much for being here. Consider subscribing and join this artsy community. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded people like yourself.
Welcome to another edition of Encaustic Endeavors, where we have artsy conversations and talk about topics that affect all of us. So pick up a paintbrush, a pencil, a pen, whatever you use to create with, maybe even a torch, and create alongside of me, and let's have a conversation about your artistic voice and this idea of consistency.
I'm going to be completely honest and share something that maybe I should not be revealing. I often struggle with the idea of narrowing your focus and finding your artistic style. Everyone seems to be talking about consistency and coherence. There seems to be a lot of value put on these two concepts. And while I agree these two concepts are important, I struggle with focusing on just one thing. I tend to be a bit all over the map and usually have 10 million things I'm working on. I'm expressing this because I think that maybe this is okay. Maybe it's okay to work in different styles, different media, and be a little bit unsure of where you want to go as an artist. Maybe finding your artistic voice should be less about doing the same style and more about feeling empowered to express yourself freely in your art. As a creative person, we are very curious beings. I am constantly thinking, oh, I wonder what would happen if I did this or that. I love learning and experimenting and playing. Sometimes I take a deep dive into one main concept, like what I'm doing with these tree sketches. But I'm still curious. I wonder what if, and I think that pushes me to constantly be pushing myself and my art. However, this does not mean that I'm going to paint trees for the next umpteen years. Someday I will feel the need to paint something else, or maybe paint trees in a different style. Just because you change your art does not mean the previous pieces were failures, or were not any good, or you don't know who you are. I hope this is making some sense. I'm the type of person who likes to dive deep into a project and learn all I can about it, but then eventually move past that. If I put all of the pieces of my art that I ever created in one room, there'd be a very mixed bag of subjects and media. I started out as an acrylic artist and dabbled in fiber art before I became an encaustic artist. I do this in life too. I've spent my free time doing so many hobbies I lost track. For a while, I was really into family history and genealogy. Then it was quilting. From there, I went into reclaimed furniture pieces and flea markets. And then crochet and making my own clothes. And right now, I'm really taking a deep dive into sustainable living and vegan foods. Like I said, all over the map. I think it's also important to give yourself permission to move on. If you started a project and realize, nope, I really don't like painting this, then it's okay to abandon that. You can always circle back around to it at a later time. If you are not this type of personality, that's okay too. I'm a bit envious of those who can stick to one subject matter. But I do have to be okay with me. I think that's the point here, being good with who you are, whether you're consistent or cohesive or not. As human beings, we have a way of constantly comparing ourselves to others. And as creatives, it's very easy to look at other artists and say, boy, they're really good. My art's not that good. I think especially when you're starting out, I had the hardest time calling myself an artist. Silly to admit that now, really. So if you're starting out, just know that you will probably always compare your art to others, but it gets easier to ignore the negative voices or place them aside. I think if you try really hard to do what works for you, to create what you love, then you stay true to your own voice. You find your artistic voice, and that is cohesive. It's good to look at other people's work, but look at it through your own lenses. Ask, why do I love this, and what is making this piece special to me? Is it the colors, the subject, the line work, the contrast? Get specific, and then you can take those little specific bits back to your own work and put your own spin on it. Lastly, I want to say all of this takes time. As human beings, we're always growing and changing. We learn from both our mistakes and achievements. I'm not going to be the same exact person 20 years from now, and I'm not the same exact person I was when I was 25. I have grown and learned new things, so I can't expect my art to be exactly the same. What I do know is that it's my hands making the art. The same hands that drew funny family portraits when I was 5, the same hands that drew detailed architectural drawings when I was 20, the same hands that painted acrylic paintings when I was 30, and the same hands that hold a torch now. Maybe that's the cohesiveness. It's me, it's my art, and it's my hands making the art. I hope this all made some sense, and that if nothing else, it gave you some encouragement to be you, whether you have stayed with one media and subject as an artist, or if you're a bit like myself and have dabbled in several mediums and subjects. It's all good, because it's all you. I'm going to stop chatting now and let you enjoy some music, contemplate this subject of cohesiveness and consistency, and I'll pick you back up in a bit. If you're creating alongside of me here, keep on creating.
continue this conversation down there in the comments. Let me know how you feel about consistency. Are you a little bit all over the board with your art style? Have you found your artistic voice? Let me know down there in the comments, and let's continue this conversation. Of course, while you're down there, if you're so inclined to hit that thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. And if you aren't subscribed and would consider doing so, that also really does help me out. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.